Now, to continue on thinking about specific applications of the RSD, I've asked Dorothy Missingham, who's from the University of Adelaide in the School of Mechanical Engineering, and is a lecturer who's involved in a large first-year communications and graphic designs course. So thanks very much for coming along, Dorothy.
You're welcome, John.
So before I was telling people about the fact that the OPS, the Optimising Problem Solving Pentagon, was a very helpful configuration for problem solving for the research skill development for us. It really helped us to use the RSD Pentagon directly with students. How have you found the use of the OPS Pentagon in the mechanical engineering context?
It's been very useful, and one of the things that we try to concentrate on in communication for mechanical engineers is helping them to go through the process of problem solving. Once they've solved the problem, once they go through that process, they have to articulate that.
Yes.
So it's a double-edged sword for students. They have to learn to be engineers, but they also have to learn to communicate the engineering. So the OPS framework is very useful in providing students with steps that they can move in and out of in order to understand how to solve the particular problem.
And do you have any evidence or examples of how graduates, what difference it might make for people who have left the the bachelor degree and gone into employment?
We were very lucky, really, because the development of OPS came about originally from our student tutor requests for more training. And whilst they had me to relate to every day or every week, we thought it was useful to bring in other people. And of course you were one of those people that we brought in, and you first introduced the RSD to that group of tutors.
Yes.
Who in themselves found it amazing that they hadn't had these ideas presented to them at all in engineering.
Yes.
That research skills were things that they could develop, and there were certain categories within those skills that they could use to develop those skills. Once they took hold of that, and then they married it with the engineering method basically, and with project management principles, then it took off that this was something very helpful within undergraduate studies. But of course, as you know, those original tutors who then went on to help develop OPS as a framework, as a pentagon, have now graduated and are out into industry. What I really like about what they say is that OPS has been useful in helping them in their professional careers in industry.
That's great.
But one of the particulars, one of the former tutors in particular, she also says that it's not just a framework, not just a way of approaching problem solving in engineering, but she's used it in all sorts of areas of her life. So it's, and they tell me that it's just that they no longer actually think about OPS, they just use it.
And what about your average first year student? What difference does it make to them during the course? How do you use it?
We use it in a number of ways. We present particular problems to them, and they're mostly communication or graphic design problems, or a combination of both, in which the students have to identify what the problem is before they can go about solving it. And then generally we do that in groups or in teams. So there's a small group of 5 or 6 students in a larger classroom of anywhere between 60 and 300 students who are working on a particular problem, and they move in and out of the facets of the pentagon in order to understand what the problem is itself before they begin to investigate a solution for that problem.
And when they're moving, like you said, in and out of the facets, how do you know what they're doing? How do they communicate that?
We try to make it explicit to them. So they will have a copy of the Optimising Problem Solving Pentagon, and within that framework, they'll use that information to identify themselves where they're going. So in any given problem scenario, there'll be someone in the group who'll say, now wait a minute, we haven't considered enough different alternatives. We need to generate some more alternatives before we can look at evaluating the information that we've generated. So there's always someone there who will say, oh, we've got to go and have a look now at what's going on here. Or we've got this solution, how would we communicate that to an audience? How would we apply it in this engineering situation? So the students themselves look at the framework, and they're the ones who are investigating not just the problem, but investigating how to solve the problem using the framework.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Dorothy, for helping out today.
Thank you.